All right, welcome back to Music Theory 101. This is lesson 2, and today we are looking at the bass clef. So let's jump right on in. In the last video, we looked at the treble clef, which is this one. Another name for the treble clef, not important for what we're doing right now, is the G clef, and that is because this little circle right here circles the G line. This is on G, that line is on the G. This is also called the G clef, but we can just call it the treble clef. It's not important that we know that's the G clef. But today we are looking at the bass clef, which is also called the F clef. The bass clef looks like this. And it's called the F clef because the two dots surround that line. That is the F line. So that's called the F clef. Hopefully in the first video, everyone was like, wow, that wasn't so bad. Every good boy does fine and face. And I don't know if you see this, I actually left that right here on the screen because we're gonna use the exact same thing in the bass clef. The only thing is this bottom line right here is not an E. In bass clef, that bottom line is a G. Music theory is easy. G is easy. We start with G. So if we're starting with G, then we start here. Good boy does fine. Every. But we start here G. So it's good boy does fine. We're on the lines now. We're up to F. Now we're spelling face. F, A, then this would be a line here, C, that's a ledger line, and then another ledger line would be an E. G, B, D, F, A. The very first one is G, music theory is easy. Good boy does, then we start face, F, A, C, E. Now, then that means that this line down here below the G, that is our every. And if that's an E, then we can go down to the line before that. E is face, F-A-C-E. So before that is C, and then before that is A, and before that is F. But most of the times we're not reading down this low. That's just too low to be reading down. So we don't have to read down that low. But just so you know, this is F, A, C, E, then G, B, good boy, does, fine, and then face, F, A, C, every. We keep going up. Good. Keep going up. Boy. Keep going up. Like it's the same letters. Every good boy does fine and face. The only difference here is we need to know that the first line in bass clef is G. And the first bass in bass clef is A. Which means that the space before the first line is F. And then, which is the same thing as before. F, A, C, every, good, boy, blah, blah, blah. It repeats, it repeats, it repeats. Everyone feeling okay with that? I think that's basically it. So we're actually not going to harp on this too long. We're actually going to go ahead straight into the exercise. All right, so G, music theory is easy. The very first line is G, which means that the note before G is, in the alphabet, the note before G, here's G, the note before that is F. That's a space. Cool. Here's a line, which means we start at our lines, which starts at G. Good boy does. That is a, yeah. All right, here we go. It's a tough one. Good. It's a line. So this one is on a line. So it's good boy does fine. There's an F, so we start face, F, A, C, yep, E. Cool. This one is a space. The very first thing is good. So this is G, this is A. So it's F, A, C, then E, face, F, A, C, E, boom. All right. Okay, we've got space down here. We've got F is the space right before our first line. So we've got F there. Every good boy does fine. If this is fine, does, right here, D. Let's keep going. That is a line. So we're starting on line G. This was easy. G. Good boy does fine. This is a space. The space before the first line is F. So do F, A, C, E. Another line. Here we go. G. This was easy. Good boy does F, A, C, and E. We'll do a few more. I think you guys get the gist of it. Let's see. It's on a line, so good boy does fine. All right, and then we've got another line. Good boy. Another one. We've actually done this one, so that's an E. We don't have to do that one again. The very first space before the line is F, A, C. Another line. Good boy does fine. F, A. And this will be the last one. Good boy does fine. F, A, C, E. Boom. All right, I hope you guys got something out of this one. So we've now learned the lines and spaces for our bass clef and our treble clef and a bunch of ledger lines. So we've learned the mnemonic, every good boy does fine, and that we use face. So we know where they start. In the bass clef, the first line for bass clef is G, good boy does fine. And in the treble clef, the first line is E, every good boy does fine. So that is where we are, and we will keep building from there. I promise you it's going to get easier and less confusing, but we have to make sure we have this part so we don't get lost. And yeah, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. We're going to put all this together.